Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And today I want to offer you another book review, but this one's a kind of special because I know the author. We actually were in a intuitive course a while back together, and she's been working on this particular book for a while, and it came out in 2022. I've been trying to get through it because it's not difficult. It's written, and I have to say she did a really good job of writing it, but it's written in a simple way to understand, but it's challenging some beliefs that you may have held, which is fascinating, but also has its moments. And the book is called Soul Ascension Code by Ashley Hoobler and Layne Mills, and I may have messed up the second name, I'm not sure. I have literally been toting this thing around with me for a while now. And it is a very fascinating way of looking at ascension. It takes a little different of an approach through the journey with a caterpillar. And I have to say, I really like the approach. I really like the concept, and that's why it's been such a fun read. Like I said, it's just there's parts where it pushes your the illusions and the foundations that we've established for ourselves that may or may not be the best options. Sometimes you need to evaluate and be like, actually, no, that works. I'm just not seeing it correctly. And that's what the purpose of this book is. And it goes through this journey of a caterpillar, but it also talks about the seed of life in the middle. So each chapter goes through and talks about, I have so many things in here. It talks about each, you start with a seed, which is just the little, I'll show you the picture here. It starts here. And you'll see a seed, and then there's 4 petals, then there's the entire circle. And so each chapter, you're going through the petal sections, you're going through the whole circle, and you're understanding the seed or the root of the situation. And at the beginning of each chapter, we start with the overview, the big circle, right there, and she gives you a basic of what this section is going to be about, and then you do, she has little blurbs. This one talks about shifting perspectives, so you start to understand how this fits into your life. Then there's Circle 1, Petal 1, and that's the soul awakens. I love this part of this book. Other places will include their personal life, but they actually, both of them, have set it aside so that you can read through the section and then see how it plays out in their life. It's not, this is how it's going, this is how it went, and it's just it's a stream of consciousness type thing. This is, here's what the lesson is. This is how it applied in my life. And like I said, it's just, I like the way she did that, and it's a fascinating experience to read through and see how other people have woke up to this spiritual awakening that is occurring. Some people just run into a wall and that's where they stay. Ashley talks about specifically how you run into that wall. Why are you standing there? Step back. Is it a big wall, or is it a fence post that you just happen to have your eyes stuck to? And is it something you can go around? Do you need to climb over it? Like, what's going on there? So it's really a nice way to approach this. And I'll just go through the first circle for it with you. Petal 2 is the initial inquisition. And she puts in here a lot of these little deals too. And it says, warning, this step may be a bit painful, so please seek assistance from a professional if you find yourself in a dark place unable to get out. Many spiritual seekers have benefited from life coaching, counseling, or even therapy. These methods can help tremendously when it comes to spiritual development. I have to 100% agree with that, because there's times, especially when you start digging into your shadow, start understanding the deeper parts of who you are, you may not like that, and it may run into an ego or a mental block that you can't process through having an outside perspective when you're cycling through that can mean a massive amount of either growth, and in some cases, if you're in a dark enough place, it could be a reason for survival, because when you go into the dark, especially the shadow where you're having to examine yourself, it's not always the most comfortable thing. And sometimes you find things out you didn't want to talk about, or shoved back because you couldn't handle it because of how the world responds to you. Eventually you can process through a lot of that, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, you never finish. You just keep sorting through and clearing out, but the more you clear out, the more you understand, the better you exist in the world, the better you present, the better you feel, which is so much better than the rest of that. But it also helps your spiritual journey, and that's what she's talking about in here. So circle 1, petal 3, deepening your inquisition. This is going deeper and deeper into who you are. This is going deeper into why these things have been going on. This is when the caterpillar is kind of wandering around, not really sure, but life doesn't feel right. It's uncomfortable, too tight in their own skin. This is that inquisition part. Expanding concepts. Each one of these has a different color. Not that it's showing up well here. Green ones are personal experiences. Yellow ones are shifting perspectives. Pink is the warnings, the heads up ones. Expanding concepts, these are your exercises. They're generally done in purple, so you can know what section you're working into. I'm a color person, so this just made me happy. Circle 1, petal 4 is evaluating thoughts and feelings. This is where you have come through a set. Now you're kind of understanding what's going on behind the scenes. You may not be fully accepting of it. You may not have even gotten worked through any of it, but at least you have an idea of what's there. That's the evaluation part. Then we move into another exercise. Then there's the activation. The activation of the seed. There are 6 seeds at the core of the flower here. Right here. And you go through the circle, you understand the petals, then you get to the seed. This is the part that helps you bloom. You're planting this seed. This is that aspect of growth that you had to dig out of the shadow to be able to put in the ground so it can actually do something. Because the shadow, think of it as like a packet of seeds. It's just a packet. There's nothing you can do with it. When you take the seed out, you find the seed, and then you plant it, and you start to maintain it. You water it, heat, light, all that stuff. That's when the growth occurs. So it's not just, some people will get stuck on shadow work, and that's where they stay. That's fine, we need to understand that, but shadow work should help you discover the seeds, the gems, the diamonds in the rough that allow you to grow to the next level. If you just stay in shadow work, you're going to clear some stuff out, but what are you doing with it? You're just holding it like it's something new. So you've just traded one burden for another. And that's what I like about how she wrote this. The activation of the seed 1, you go through, you find the spark within yourself, you started to integrate the mindsets fixing things, you define yourself and notice external experiences and how it correlates with self-discovery. Everything that goes on in here, in your heart, in your soul, has an outside resonance. When you start to make those comparisons, alchemy, you start to be able to grow beyond that. You use that as a stepping stool to grow up. And then you start to look within yourself, notice your thoughts and emotions, and that allows you to start to catch yourself before you spiral. And then we're still in the first section, and then it goes into another section of Ashley's story here. You go into the second circle. It's the inner exploration. This is the caterpillar's metamorphosis. Not sure why that was a hard word to say today, but it was. And I won't go through all of the petals and seeds. Circle 3, the becoming begins, continuing the caterpillar's metamorphosis. And I had these tagged, my book fell over, and that was... So, circle 4 is the abyss. Now you're into the dark. You start by touching the shadows, kind of seeing what's in there. You go through different steps, building up. There comes a point when you actually have to go hang out with the shadow. You have to go into the dark. Not always the most pleasant experience. That's why she says in the beginning, when you start this and you start having, triggering things that are uncomfortable, seek help. It's not an admission of guilt. It's, holy crap, there's a lot buried in there. I need some help. Then you get into the releasing, and this is where you start to crack out of that chrysalis that you've been in. You start to see things from the other side. And the chapter that I just finished, if I can find it here, is Circle 6. So this is the final one. The embodied creator. This is where you are finally free of the chrysalis, of the illusion that bound you. You've grown beyond your insect state into the beautiful butterfly. You've birthed forth from that. And the way she goes through this, and this is not a full workbook, and she even says this, on the ascension process. This is a guidebook. These are the steps. This is what happens. These are the type of things you can encounter, so when you're going through the book, you can actually kind of figure out where you're at in life. And as she said, the Seed of Life flower, this image on the front here, is all about cycles. So you are going to go from caterpillar to butterfly. Then the butterfly is going to lay eggs, new caterpillar. So you're constantly in this state of cycling and growth, but as you continue to cycle and grow, you'll notice that the stuff that used to really bother you, and you can look in your journals, because I've done that 10, 15 years ago, the things that drove me insane and the things that were frustrating, so angry at those times, now they don't even affect me. Like, I can read that section of my journal now and have zero emotional response to it. I've learned those lessons and I've processed them out. There's still some things that I will trigger off that, but those are things I'm still working on. That's the purpose of what she's doing here. She's giving you a kind of a template, a map, so to speak, of what to expect as you go through life. These are different ways to deal with things. It's different ways to growth. So if you're interested in that, I will have it linked in the description. I highly recommend this book just as an addition to your spiritual journey. There was another word, but I wasn't sure if it was the right one. So it's something to help benefit, and it doesn't matter if you're on a Christian journey, if you're on a pagan journey, a Druid journey. We all have similar cyclical patterns, and the way she writes this is more on the alternative religion spectrum. But as I was going through it, you can actually fit the dynamic, the plan, the outline 100% into a Christian life. We all have growth, we all have shadows, we all have periods of breaking down illusions, we have periods of growth. That is a spiritual concept that goes beyond anyone's doctrine, theology, philosophy, dharma, karma, all of it. This goes as a baseline, so you can use this book actually as a way to grow in any aspect of your spirituality. So if you're interested, like I said, you can check that out. If not, that's fine too. I will see you guys in the next video. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video, and comment if you've read this book, if you've never heard of it before, are you interested, and let me know. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.